Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Edgar Fernandez. I'll be joined by Daniel Hawkins. Just some housekeeping things that you need to be aware of. During the webinar, you'll be muted, but feel free to submit any questions in the question box on the right-hand side of your screen. When we get to the end of the webinar, there'll be a Q&A session where you'll be able to submit additional questions, and of course we'll answer them as well. And there'll be some handouts too. We are recording this webinar, so you will be sent a link to access the recording, and at the end there'll be a short critique form, and we'd appreciate your help in actually getting your views on what you've seen and heard. So just in terms of some introductions. We're Bytes Software Services. We're the #1 cloud implementation and licensing partner for Microsoft in the UK. We work very closely with Consult CRM, who are a gold certified Dynamics partner, and we've been working with them since 2013. So the agenda today is just very briefly, just want to tell you a little bit more about who Consult CRM are and what Consult CRM do, and then talk briefly about sales productivity capability within Dynamics CRM. So, in terms of Consult CRM, we are a gold certified CRM partner. We've been doing this since version 1 of Dynamics CRM. We're around 50 employees, most of whom are engaged on project delivery, and in excess of 25 of our people are certified by Microsoft. We've got a dedicated product development team, and we are constantly building additional IP, so for things like, for example, bid management, social housing, some quite complex account management functionality, and also some third-party data integration capability too.
Everything got an echo. Can we just try it without the? Just tell people. Can ask if people can make sure I don't echo.
Okay. I was just wondering if people out there are hearing an echo or not, because I've had a couple of comments about echoes. So I've taken my headset off, and hopefully the echo's gone.
No echo.
No echo, okay, that's great. So, moving forward. So, as Consult CRM, we're part of a much bigger group called the Advanced Computer Software Group, and we're based out of large corporate offices in Diston Park in Slough. So in terms of scale, we're approximately 2,000 staff across the UK, US, and in India. We've been growing extremely quickly, and Deloitte have recognised this and given us an award as Technology Fast 50 in 2014. We are the third largest software and services supplier in the United Kingdom, and have well in excess of 20,000 clients now. Just to give you an example of our CRM customer base, it's actually across several sectors, from manufacturing right through to financial services. We've got some fairly large customers, some global customers, and if you do need to know more about some specific sectors, then please feel free to get in touch with us. So let me move forward to driving sales productivity with Dynamics CRM and some of the key benefits that you can achieve. So what you should do really is look at Dynamics CRM as a platform for business productivity. We are going to address one element of that in terms of sales productivity using Dynamics CRM, and a key element of that is actually driving and improving sales conversion rates. Every sales director that I've ever talked to, that's the one thing that keeps him or her awake at night. In addition to that, now that's actually supported by demand generation, tracking activity, tracking communication, management and reporting of KPIs, having a single view of information, etc. But the one key thing that drives every sales manager and every sales director is conversion rates. So that's what this is all about, really. So Dynamics CRM is integrated to the Microsoft stack, and what we'll be demonstrating to you today is integration with Power BI, which is a very powerful piece which enables you to build some very good reporting with data not just from CRM but also from external data. And a number of companies are using this for their management reporting needs. You'll also see integration with the social engagement piece, Outlook, and Office 365 groups as well. So the key thing here is that we all like to work anywhere and at any time, and Dynamics CRM supports this beautifully via your tablets, via your phones, in both offline and online modes. So in terms of how you can deploy it, it's available both in the Microsoft Cloud. It's available in the private cloud via Azure or via managed hosting or managed services. It's also available as an on-premise implementation, and it supports sales, marketing, and service. Needless to say, it integrates very well with any back office or any line of business system that you choose to have. So on that note, having given you an overview, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Daniel Hawkins, who will walk you through the demonstration of Dynamics CRM. Dan?
Thank you, Edgar. Good morning, everybody. We're going to have a brief look today at some of the overview around Dynamics CRM, the latest version 2016, core features and concepts, especially around sales productivity and some of the integrated products from the Microsoft stack that Edgar previously alluded to. So I've put together a small agenda, and please do raise your hand if you're not seeing the screen, the presentation, or the CRM demonstration in a second at any point, because obviously that's the key part of this. So I've put together a quick agenda just to show you the high-level touch points that we're going to go through today. So really around sales productivity, how you can drive contact and account management, your sales pipeline management, all the way through from lead to opportunity, quotes and ordering, the production of supporting documentation and collaboration through mail merge that is available through the Word platform, how you can access this information on a mobile platform, and also once all this great information is into your CRM system, how you can then alleviate that and you can bring that out to give you that intelligence through reporting either within the platform or, as Edgar said, through Power BI. Now, Consult CRM have a number of products that we've developed that help our implementations of Dynamics CRM, especially around the areas of data visualization, data manipulation. And we're going to have a look at a few examples of those today that help drive user adoption of a new Dynamics CRM implementation. And then finally, especially given the time, we're going to have a look at some of the integrated products as well. So how Office 365 can be used to drive productivity through Excel Online, Office 365 groups, reporting, voice of the customer, new surveys-based functionality that sits natively within Dynamics CRM. So if you want to get that feedback from your customers, how you can quickly and easily create surveys that go out to your customers. Social engagement, seeing what your customers, your leads, or really anybody is talking about your brand, your competitors, your products on social media, what is their sentiment between those, and being able to link that into your Dynamics CRM for sales leads, for maybe customer service as well. ADX Studio, which is some Portland technology, and then finally we're going to, like we said, have a look at the Power BI platform as well. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of the Dynamics CRM productivity functionality. So we're going to have a look at some of the customer management functionality around contacts and accounts, the products that we have within Dynamics CRM from the Consult CRM team, a bit around the Office integration, so looking at how when we're contacting, when we're discussing items with our customers, how we can quickly take emails, tasks, phone calls, appointments from our Outlook and push those into CRM, so we're keeping that centralized data view. Our pipeline management, how we access all that data on the mobile platform, and also the reporting capabilities as well. So I'm just going to navigate out of my PowerPoint, and we are now looking at a dashboard view of Dynamics CRM. So if anybody's not seeing the dashboard at this point, then please do raise your hand and put the question, because this is the important part here. This is where you need to be seeing what we're showing. So as Edgar mentioned before, Dynamics CRM can be deployed in a multitude of different fashions. So whether it's on-premise, online through the Office 365 platform, or third-party hosted, you can access that, and you access the CRM system through a browser. So I've got my browser open here today. You can use Edge, i.e. Chrome, Firefox, or even Safari on a Mac. So there's a multitude, again, of different platforms that are supported for this. So given some context of our demonstration today, I've logged in, I've gone into my CRM system, and you'll see here that I'm logged in. I'm here as Bill Jones, and I am a sales manager for an organisation called Cycle Plaza, who deal with sales and service around bicycles and the associated products within that. So it's logged me in, and we can see here that I've come in straight away into a dashboard of information that's very pertinent, very personal to me as a sales user, of the information that's going to help drive my usability and help my my day-to-day use of the system. And one of the key benefits of a Dynamics CRM platform is the flexibility, is the configurability of this system by not only ourselves, by our partners, but within your organizations as well. So if you've got IT managers, IT directors who want to be your power users, who want to configure this and move it forward, you can do that very easily through the platform by tailoring things like the dashboards, how the forms look, how the views look. So it's really tailorable. So this is a system view of a sales pipeline dashboard, but I can create my own views and dashboards as I want to as a user. And if I have the skill set to do that with an Excel to produce charts and graphs, I can do that within Dynamics. It's very much the same, drag and drop. I want a pie chart, I want to place it here with this kind of data, that kind of thing. So some key terminology. So we're looking at our dashboard here, but I could be logging in and looking at anything. Again, on a user by user basis, you can define what it is that you want to look at. So at the top of the screen here is our navy bar at the top of the screen here. This is our main menu. This is what I can use to navigate around the system to find the different areas that I want to interact with the system. So if I drop down my main menu here, I can see the different areas of the system that are broken up into those different sections to keep it nice and clean. So I have sales, customer service, marketing, the surveys, and settings if I'm an administrator. So for example, I've got my sales areas, and then within sales, I've got my different areas of data entities that are collected together around accounts and contacts, leads, opportunities, quotes. If I go into service, it's more around customer service cases and knowledge-based articles, marketing campaigns, etc., etc. So if I want to go to a particular area, I can just drop down the sales and go into contacts there. So I click onto contacts, it's all a web page, so it just drives me straight into that view that I'm looking at. So what I've got here is a view, as a salesperson, of my active contacts. And again, all this is completely configurable. So the columns that you're seeing here, the views of data, the segmentation can be controlled either by administration or by users as well. So I can go through, and I might want to look for a particular contact that I'm trying to work with. I can do that by paging through, by going through and doing the quick links at the bottom here, or we now have some global search functionality, which I can use at the top here, where I can just search for a piece of text. So I might want to search for Keith, for example, a contact that I'm talking to at the moment, and the system will go away and find any records where Keith is mentioned as the contact. So that is the contact's name. Maybe it is an account of yours where Keith is the primary person of contact at that account. As you can see here, opportunities where Keith is the main customer, the main point of contact for that opportunity, or even something like a customer service case where Keith is the person that raised it. So we're searching quickly across a breadth of all this data within Dynamics CRM. And if you extend CRM as well, saying you want to include projects or anything like that you might think, well, actually, we want to do something that's, configure it, that's not just the standard functionality out of the box. We can search across those custom entities as well. So if, again, Keith is that main point of contact on a project, the project could be returned. And once I want to go into a record, I just need to click on it, and I'm just going to open it up in a new tab here. And it's going to take me away from my search and take me directly into a contact record, which is now showing me that whole view of that data that we have for that particular record, and this could be a contact, an account, opportunities, whatever it might be. So we've gone away from that view, that list of information where we've only seen a few fields, seeing that high level data, into the form now for a contact record in this example where we can see everything relating to them. And we can start to access information now, such as how we contact them, their phone numbers. We've got their primary address that's plotted on a Bing Maps here. And I mentioned that I was going to show some of the Consult CRM products that we use, especially around user adoption. And what you'll notice in the top left-hand corner here is we've got our product called Visual Cues sat here. So CRM is a fantastic system. We can store all kinds of data within here, but most of the forms in the list are very text-based. And what we've done with Visual Cues is enabled the visualization of that data onto a form, so any high-level important information that your user is going to want to see straight away when they look at that form, that's maybe going to drive their decision about how they then interact with that customer, that lead, that prospect. They can do that through Visual Cues. And this can be all configured and set up by an admin. So what icons you want to see, what views of data it is, so what fields it's looking at. So I can see, for example, here that I know Keith is based in the UK, he prefers to be contacted by letter, and he has a relationship with us as a customer. And that's what the Visual Cues are telling me. And it could be anything, or you could even link into connected records. So if you had an open opportunity for Keith as that has a high probability of closing, or the close date is soon, you might have a Visual Cue on his contact record that's showing that, so it can be linking through into related records. Another way that I can look at related information, so if I drop down my details tab here, we have another product here called Visual Hierarchies on the left hand side. So if I want to access any of the connected information to Keith, what I need to do is that I need to go into his record or find those one-off records, those opportunities in different areas of the system, or like I said, come into his contact record, drop down the menu next to his name, and then I'll go in and I can see, well, maybe I'll go in and have a look at all the opportunities that we've got for Keith, or what open cases have we got, or what quotes have we sent out to Keith, and I have to go into those one by one. Through Visual Hierarchies, I can bring in all of that combined data into one easy to read form, so that again our users are accessing all the information that they want quickly and easily, without needing to be jumping around and viewing different screens and thinking, what did I need to see to go back? So through Visual Hierarchies, I can define, again, completely configurable, the data that I want to see. I've got Sales View here that's looking at open opportunities, and I can see all of those opportunities that are open, and the products that are part of each opportunity. Maybe some of the quotes that have been sent out to him, and the value of those quotes, when they were, and what the status of those quotes are. Or I could have a different view that's maybe customer service, and when that loads, that will show me more information around open cases, closed cases, and such forth. It's just taking a little second just to refresh that. There we go. Don't know why it took so long, but anyway, so now we can see I'm now looking at a view of closed cases or open cases. I've got them all within that one screen. You may have noticed on the contact form, and this exists all across the board with Dynamics CRM on a number of different entity forms, that you have this activity pane in the center of the screen. So whenever I'm logging phone calls, appointments, tasks, emails, conversations that I'm having with Keith against his contact record, they're all easily readable in this one succinct screen here in the middle of his contact form. So me as a user, as Bill that I'm using here, if I go away on holiday, I leave the organization, those email conversations that I'm having with Keith, for example, have not been lost because I'm storing them centrally. You might be thinking, well, how do I add that kind of information on? Well, if it's something like a phone call, Keith rings you in, you want to talk about him, talk about the latest opportunity, you might just say, I'm going to come in, I'm going to add a phone call. It knows it's with Keith. It was an incoming phone call. He rang, and just add some notes. Oh, he rang to discuss. Add your notes. Hit OK. And a quick refresh of the form, and that phone call is in there. I can see that it's inbound. It marks it that it was me and the time that it was made as well. So now all of my colleagues can see that, and we can use that for reporting around people that have made and received phone calls, should I want to. What I can also use is part of the Microsoft stack, and we talk about the great functionality around the integration piece that we have within Dynamics CRM, is to use my Outlook to bring in that information, so that I'm using the tools, I'm using the products and the software that I'm currently using to help drive that productivity. So I'm just going to drop into Bill's Outlook here. And this is the latest version of Outlook. This does work with the last few versions. And what you'll notice is that this looks exactly like a standard setup for your Outlook. So nothing looks completely different apart from the fact that I now have this CRM bar at the top of my screen here. And what this enables me to do is to take an email or a phone call or put it on a task or an appointment within Outlook. Take that email, for example. So we've got one here from Keith saying, could you send me some information around my sales and some sales and marketing documentation? And I can take that email and I just hit track, and it's going to go away, and it's going to automatically track it into Dynamics CRM. So it's found Keith's contact record because of the email address that it came from. It's matched his email address in CRM. It knows that it's coming to me because, again, it's coming to my email address. It's against my user. But at the moment, it's not regarding anything. So maybe we have an open opportunity or an open project or customer service case that we want to tag this email against as well. And I can do that by saying, I just want to set this email regarding, and it's going to open up the pane for me to search for any kind of information in CRM. So I could tag it against a contract, for example, or a quote or an opportunity or customer service case. And I'm going to say I want to tag it against an opportunity. One of the opportunities that I've got open for Keith, push that in there, and you can see it's now regarding that opportunity, so that email will exist against that opportunity as well. And to see how that views in Dynamics CRM, if I just go back into Chrome and I go back into my contact form for Keith, I'm just going to refresh the activities pane at the top here. There's that email coming from Keith with his information that he sent, and if he'd sent any, there was any attachments on the emails as well, they'd also be stored. And now if I go back into my Outlook and I reply to that email, the reply is automatically tracked because I've tracked the first part of that back and forth conversation. So that's how you can use, that's our first look at how you can use outside products or integrated Microsoft products to help drive that productivity. So we also, just to touch on, before we move on to a bit of pipeline management, just the last product that we've got to show here today. So we've got Keith's contact information. We do also have some postcode lookup functionality as well. So within here, within my screen, I can click lookup postcode. It takes his postcode that he's got currently at the moment on the screen, and it searches for that and finds all of our records. But we might also, he might tell us that he's now moved to flat 5, for example. I can search for a different postcode, and I can just double click that, and it pushes that change into the address form as we've got there. So we can use the postcode lookup to validate and verify the correct addresses that we've got on contacts or on accounts. So there's a bit of contact management. And again, we can do the same through account management as well. So if your customers are accounts, I can go into my sales area, go into accounts, for example, and find all of that kind of information. Now you're thinking, well, I've got this kind of data, so if I go in and I want to go and quickly find records that I've been looking at. Well, what we do have is a recently viewed records pane here as well. So across the breadth of different types of entities that we have within Dynamics CRM, you have a recently viewed records pane that I can go in and I can see any opportunities, contacts, accounts, cases, quotes that I've been looking at, and I could even pin them. So an opportunity that I look at quite a lot, I can pin that and that will always be to the top. Same with any of the views that I look at quite frequently, such as my active contacts. I want to pin that and that will always be there. So I can just click that then, and it's going to take me back to my active contacts. You might be thinking, oh, okay, well that's every contact that I've got, but how do I then segment my list myself as a non-admin user to then show me the kind of reporting that I want around contacts that I've got in a certain segmentation or ones that I need to be talking to? Well, within Dynamics CRM, we have a bit of functionality called Advanced Find. And if I click this button here, what this will enable me to do is create very simple text-based views or reports of data based on sort of plain English criteria. So what I might want to say is build on top of, so we can see we've already got contacts that are the owner, the account manager is me, the current user, but I might also want to say build on top of that, and you can see I've got all the fields on the contact that I could search for, or even the related records. So I might want to say, or have an opportunity where the contact for that opportunity is this contact, and the status of that opportunity is currently open, and I can hit the results, and it's going to show me. So out of my 314 total, I've got 145 customers that have got a current open opportunity for me, and I can do that ad hoc, or I could even maybe save that and say my active contacts, give it a quick name, Save that. I'm just going to close this form down, do a quick refresh. And when I come back into contacts, you'll notice that in my section of views, I have all the system views that have been set up by an admin, but I also have my view section, and there's my view that I've just set up, and there's that list that we've just created. And what's key here is the criteria that's been saved, not the list. So if you have another contact with an open opportunity, it's put into your database and add them on, they'll automatically come into this list, so you don't need to recreate time and time again. So there's a little bit of accounting contact management. Let's have a look at some sales pipeline management. So you'll have noticed when I started dropping down the different menus we're looking at here, we've got a number of entities that support that sales pipeline management. We've got leads, opportunities, quotes, orders, etc., etc. And now, depending on how your organization works, you might want to work in a number of different ways. So Dynamics CRM has this concept of leads, and these could be leads or prospects, inquiries, however you want to term this data. And what it is, it's an area to store that unqualified sales data. So you're not putting it into the fully fledged accounts or contacts that then might skew some of your reporting that you're going to get out of it. You can put this data into the leads area for your salespeople, for your marketing people to work through, to contact these people and see if there is actually a sales opportunity there. You might be getting this information from trade shows, from your website, form, wherever it might be. So let's have a look at a lead example. So if I go into my lead I've got here for Alice. So we've got our lead form. It looks quite similar to our contact form, the kind of information that we've got stored, a bit more, some different information around who are the competitors that we're looking against on this lead, or maybe what she's interested in, some business information for this lead. But most importantly, what you'll notice at the top of the screen here is we have a business process flow that we've got here now. And this, so qualifying a lead and moving it forward into an opportunity, is a standard out-of-the-box business process flow. And we can map this to any business process flow that you might have as an organization. So if you have a specified process that your sales team go through within sales to take them from that initial engagement all the way through to completed sale, through to order, we can map that. And you can see the kind of information that we want to be, that the business wants to be filled in at certain points. So qualified, there's this kind of information, then develop, we add more, and propose and close, we add on more information. And once we've got a lead and we've talked to them, so we've got those phone calls and tasks here again stored at the lead point of view, I can qualify or disqualify a lead based on the information that we've had at hand, and qualifying it will then push that information into an opportunity record, and we're going to take up from here with an existing opportunity that I already have within my pipeline. So if I now go into my sales area and go into my opportunities, again, as a salesperson, I have a view. This is my open opportunities. These are the ones that I'm working on, that I'm trying to progress all the way through to that order. So if I take a particular opportunity that I've been working with here, and again I could come into it through here, or I could have used my recent list to find that opportunity that I've been working on, for example, and it's going to take me in, and we're now looking at this sales opportunity record. So we've got all our information here about who is the contact or the customer, that the account that we're trying to sell into, sales information around ratings of this sale, and we have the ability to define different currencies and price lists. So within Dynamics CRM we can be very flexible around the sales of products. This is a multi-currency, multi-price list available system, so you can be selling in all the different price lists and currencies that you are using. All this kind of high level information around when you think it's going to be closed, you can see that all here as well. And we have this business process flow within this opportunity as well. So what I've got here is the ability to say, well, within an opportunity, am I going to calculate what I think the estimated revenue, which is down here, from the products that I'm adding into the opportunity, or are we going to manually enter the revenue as well? And you can see here, so what we didn't have at the lead stage that we now have at the opportunity stage is the ability to add products to it, to add discounts, to really add some forecasting information into our sales pipeline. And I can take that data and we can start to expand on it. We can start to build on this. So again, we've got this business process flow. So we're currently in the qualify stage, but do we want to move forward to our next stage? And it's going to take us into the develop stage. And what do we need to complete at that stage, and all this kind of great information. Round our products that we've got, so I can add different products or edit the products that we've got. So products within Dynamics CRM can have lots of properties. So I'm selling bikes here, and coming back to that theme that we're talking to within this particular demonstration. So I have within my bikes, I have a number of different properties within a bike, and you can define those properties on the products that you sell. I have units of measure around different products that I'm selling, defined price lists. So based on the GBP Gold price list that this customer is part of, then these products, these bikes, are the prices that are shown here. You can enter quantities, discounts at the line item level, or even if you're setting up your products so that they are tied together in the correct fashion, that you can click this suggestions button here, and it will show you for each of your products that you're selling, maybe any cross-sell opportunities or accessories that you want to add to these products, any upsell. So this must be one of my most expensive bikes, so I've got no upsell at this point. Or if this product isn't available, any substitutes that you have as well. And if I say, well, let's add the saddlebag here as one of the accessories, I'll just add that to the list. It goes into my list here, it's popped it in there. I can say change the quantity to 2, and once I save that and I'll maybe recalculate the opportunity, all the information is going to change at the bottom here. And you saw that I changed, I could enter, some discount at a line item level, which is a monetary value, or for the whole opportunity, I can enter discounts as a percentage or as a whole value as well. And what you'll notice, if I continue with this opportunity, and if I go through the pipeline stages here and I get to propose, so I've got to the point where it's asking me, do I want to discount this particular opportunity? And if I put anything higher than 15%, so if I put 20%, watch the bar at the top here next to propose. So if I tab away, we've now seen another stage in the business process flow pop up. So if I've gone above 15%, because that's the criteria that I've set as a discount, we then go into a process flow, into a section that requires approval. So what you can see is here that we've not just got this standard business process flow, but we can include branching logic as well. So at certain points, at different types of opportunities that you have, you can go off in different ways dependent on the information that is at hand. So we can do all this great stuff within Dynamics CRM. What you can also do is build up on your collateral as well. So within the opportunity, again, you can see our activities notes, that things that we're talking about, stakeholders and the sales team and the competitors that are going against this particular opportunity, all building into our intelligence. If I go down to the bottom here, what we do have as well, we can generate quotes against an opportunity. And if I go into this particular quote, so when I say that I want to create a quote for an opportunity, it automatically takes all of the information. So this is one that I created before I added the other saddlebag product to it. But what it will do is it will take all of this information and it will copy it across from the opportunity into the quote. So again, saving you some time. What I might do, I can close it, I can revise this quote. But from here as well, so we're talking about integration and the usage of the other parts of the Microsoft stack, I can take a Word template, for example, such as my quote template that I previously got set up. It's going to offer it me as a download. And once Word kicks into gear, thank you very much. Within a matter, a couple of clicks, I've managed to pull in a branded quote template that's got all those line items in there from the quote that I can then save as PDF, I can email out, I can send out to our customers. That's all generated directly from Dynamics CRM. And again, it's quite quick and easy for you to set up your own templates just using standard Word functionality, taking the fields that you want to use in a drag and drop format, and you've even got items here such as your embedded grids as well of subdata within that quote. So we've got all this information, and I'm accessing this information by using my PC at this time. I'm logged on, I'm accessing the data using the full rich browser. But what if I'm not? What if I'm out on the road? What if I'm using what if I'm using an iPad or Windows Surface device or even an Android device, or they're all tablets? What if I'm using a phone? There are native applications available from Microsoft from the App Store at no additional cost to download and to log in and access your information through a mobile browser. So if I take these opportunities that I'm looking at here through Chrome, through my web browser. I'm just going to open up my tablet application here. And this is the kind of view of data that I would get by looking at my information through a tablet. So, it's all touch enabled. It's all designed to be just side scrolling for a tablet or vertical scrolling if you're on a phone. I'm looking at my home screen here of important information. I might want to say, well, let's look at my dashboards, my charts of information that I've got as well, that's bringing in real-time information from Dynamics CRM. You can, with the latest version of CRM, take your data offline as well. So if you've got your Surface and you've got CRM data on here, and then you go out of an area where you've got no Wi-Fi, no 3G, no 4G connection, you can still update your opportunities. And then next time you get to a Starbucks or McDonald's and you connect to the Wi-Fi, your changes will be uploaded into Dynamics CRM. So I can do that. I can go to my home page. We can have a look at our opportunity that we're just looking at before here for Helen here. So I can click into that, and what you can see is a very similar sort of layout, or what we were seeing within Dynamics CRM, but in this tablet-based view. So our high-level information down the left here, I could go in and see all the related information. So clicking through into the account, for example, I can see where I am in my business process flow through the tablet, and it's replicated at the top here. All of my products are here, and I could even add products directly through here. So I can say that I want to use an existing product, which will show me all of these at the bottom here. So I can say, let's add another mountain bike, one of those. I'm going to save that, and it's added that opportunity product into here. And if I go back into Dynamics CRM, so someone that's seeing this from Dynamics CRM, and refresh this grid, we can see that products has been added there as well. So that's how you can consume some of your data through the tablet. So I'm looking at individual one-off opportunities, but how can I use, again, parts of the Microsoft stack, the integrated products, to produce my reporting, to give me that overview site of the data that I want? Well, first thing we're going to talk about is collaboration. So when you're working on opportunities, you might have a team approach to that opportunity. It's not just one person that's working on that opportunity. So you're going to want a lot of collaboration and a lot of input from different people in your system. Well, actually, you might not want it from, you might not have all of those users into Dynamics CRM. So what we do have within the new version of Dynamics CRM, a brand new feature, is the ability to use office groups for collaboration. So say I'm working on an opportunity here, and this could work for any kind of entity. So it could work for case, it could work for projects, whatever you wish to use it for. I can have an Office 365 group open that is going to drive collaboration within my organization. So I'm looking at this opportunity here, and I can see from the records that I've got a small sales team that's set up that's helping me with that opportunity. But what we've not seen anywhere is, where's the collateral that I'm putting together and all this great kind of information. If I drop down the menu next to the opportunity name, there's my Office 365 Groups tab. And if I go into that, it's just going to load it. The first time, so I've already done this earlier, the first time that I go into the Office 365 Groups section for an opportunity or for a new record, it's going to ask me, you don't have one, do you want to create one? And it's going to take the reference or the unique name of that opportunity and create that office group for you. So I've gone into this now. I'm still in Dynamics CRM, but I'm looking at an office groups view of this opportunity, really, the workspace, the collaboration space for this opportunity. I've got things such as a shared calendar. I've got topics of conversation. We've got shared documentation here in team members. And you're thinking, well, why are we talking about this? We've already seen calendars, and we've already seen how I can create documentation and store it against Dynamics CRM. Well, this all sits within a OneDrive for Business folder within your SharePoint Online. And the golden key feature of this is that you do not need to be a Dynamics CRM user now to access this Office 365 group. Obviously, Bill who's created it, he's the sales owner, he works with CRM, he's working this opportunity, but maybe he needs input from different parts of the business, legal, for example, HR, marketing, who are not Dynamics CRM users, and he can now bring them into this group to start to view the collateral he's putting together and start to access his information. So a quick run through and a quick example of what you can do. So Bill here, for example, he's asking a question. He's saying, I need some legal terms and conditions for the proposal that I'm putting in together, and we can see all the, the documentation here on the right-hand side. He needs the standard wording. He doesn't have it. Anna's replied to him. So she's using the groups as well. She's been put in here. She's had a notification and she has replied to him and saying, I don't quite have them, but you might want to speak to Bav. But she has said he's not a Dynamics CRM user. Is that going to be an issue? And as we've already worked out, that is not going to be an issue. So what I can do, I can just go to my Add Members pane here, and it's going to take me through into my Office 365 and into my groups. So it should take me through directly into my groups. And what I can do is within my members bit here is I can say I want to add a new member. I'm going to find Bav. There he is from our legal team. There we go. So it's now added Bav into the Office 365 group. If I just go into my Firefox tab that I've got open here at the bottom, I'm logged in, as you can see, as Bav. This is his email. So he's just received an email saying he's been invited to the group, and he can see all the groups that he belongs to down the left-hand side. And without needing to touch Dynamics CRM, so he's just sitting within Office 365, he can go into that group. He can see the conversations that are happening. He can click on Files. And within that Office 365 group that we were talking about earlier there, he can access things like the proposal or even the presentation that will open him up in the Office 365 online apps. So he can go in and he can edit those, and all without being a Dynamics CRM user. So what he can do, he can just say, reply to that and say, added them to the proposal, send that message. And if I go back into Chrome as Bill, as a user, and I'm in my Office group section, I'm just going to refresh the Conversations tab here. And there's Bav's reply right there at the bottom. So we've got that split and that collaboration across different teams, that some are in Dynamics CRM and some are not. So we don't, all users don't have to be. So again, another great feature, that collaboration within Office 365. One of the great pieces of collaboration and reporting tools that we have is to use Excel and to use the inbuilt tools as well. So there we go, we've got an email come through from Bav at the bottom there with his answer as well. So what I can use for reporting, we've got a number of different tools available to us. So we've got the out-of-the-box reporting functionality. So if we go back to where we started, we have some dashboards, for example, and I talked earlier about how this can all be set up by the users, by admins. It can be any kind of data that you want it to be in any kind of list or graphical based format. And I can take these dashboards and I can start to slice and dice them. It's all real-time information, it's all dynamic, and I can start to drill down on that data. So I might say, well, I'm looking at my pipeline, or the pipeline for the whole organization here, and I've got about £484,000 worth of revenue in the proposed stage. I'm going to take that stage and I want to have a look at, well, who are the salespeople that are looking after those opportunities in a pie chart? And I can open that and quickly I can see that, well, actually the purple section, me, is most of them. And I could even drill down into that even further and say, well, when is the estimated close date, for example, in a horizontal bar chart? And I'm drilling down and down to the information. I can see that most of my opportunities are going to close in May, and I could even pop that out into a separate pane that's then going to show that list of segmented data that I've just put together for me to now work on. So really powerful. I can drill down to that information. This is sales-based data. We've got information in the background here, such as goals and targets for our salespeople, all stored within the CRM, all in real time for me to be able to access and report on. So that's some out-of-the-box reporting. I can also use Excel for reporting functionality as well. So a couple of ways to do this. I might want to go into my opportunities that I've been looking at recently. So say as Bill, I'm logged in, I'm thinking I need to, I've not looked at my opportunities recently. I need to do a big update on all of our opportunities. Now go through them and make sure all the information is up to date. What I can do is say maybe take a view of, so my opportunities that close in next month, so a smaller subset of that data. And I want to take that and open that information in Excel Online. And you can see we've not left Dynamics CRM, but it's opened up that view of data into an Excel Online formatted spreadsheet, and I can now start to go through and quickly edit all of these, all the rows, all the records of data. What you will also notice as I start to go through this is data data validation and data concepts are all kept within here. So if I've got a revenue column, for example, that has to be a number, I have to enter a number within Excel. If it's a probability, I have to enter a number. If it's a close date, I have to enter a date. If it's a pick list or an option set, for example, I can only pick the options that I can pick within Dynamics CRM. So within here, I'm not going to lose any of that data quality by changing it within Excel Online. And again, this can all be controlled through security, so you don't have to let all of your users have access to this. But I can start to come through and I can change this, so I can say, oh, maybe that one's now a 70% probability. And as I go through and I change them quickly, as you can do in a spreadsheet format, once I'm happy with all my changes, I can just say I want to save them back to CRM. And it'll tell me that it's going to do that, and it will just take a few seconds or so because it goes back in as an import job, and I can find out if there's any problems with that. So there's some inline editing that I can do with Excel, and I can also produce reports within Excel as well. So I can take any of the data that I want. So maybe I'm going to, as a bit of forecasting, take all the open opportunities that we've got in our database, and I'm going to say I want to export them to Excel. And I can either export them statically, so the data will just stay as it is right here, right now, or dynamically, so it will keep the connection to CRM, and I can keep refreshing my spreadsheet. Which columns do I want? I'm happy with all the ones that are in the background there. It's automatically tick those, and if I hit export, it's just going to give me my spreadsheet, and this is going to open up. Go on, same as Word, just need a bit. There we go. So once I've got that through, it's exported all the information for me in this kind of dynamic pivot table format, and once I've got the connection through, I can then start to build my reports out. So I might want to say, well, let's have a look at the different pipeline phase that all my opportunities are in, split by the price list that we're selling them at, and most importantly, the revenue that we're using. And we'll even use the owner as a filter as well. There's all my information, but I then might want to show that in a graphical format. And then because it's within Excel, I've used my standard terminology and functionality here, I can then start to filter on it using the bits that I've selected here. So owner, I might say, for example, just show me Bill and David's. And we can see that most of our opportunities are in the proposed stage for the GBP, bronze and gold price list. And you can do this with any kind of data within Dynamics CRM. I've just done it there within opportunities. So there's some sales productivity end-to-end for account management, lead management, sales, bringing up your collateral through your quotes, through your opportunities, collaboration through Office 365 groups, and some of the reporting functionality. So now, with the sort of 10 minutes or so we've got left, just quickly go over some of the integrated products that we've got that we can talk to you about and show you today. So we've looked at a lot of the information around Office 365 already, so Excel and Word and the Office 365 groups. We've also got the ability to use OneNote groups within Office 365 as well. We're going to have a look at social engagement and Power BI. Voice of the Customer is a brand new feature that's come out just recently with the new 2016 release that enables you to quickly and easily create customer feedback surveys, to send them out to them and receive the responses back into CRM for Net Promoter scores and customer service scores, or even sales service, whatever it might be, back into CRM, and then start to report on those. We are going to look to do another webinar in the next month or so to maybe delve in a bit deeper into some of the products that we're not going to show today. So Voice of the Customer. ADX Studio is a portaling technology that Microsoft acquired a year or so ago. So if you want to create a portal on Dynamics CRM that enables your customers to log in, create inquiries, see their quotes, raise a customer service case, you can do that quickly and easily through ADX Studio. Field One Sky, again, there's another acquisition from Microsoft all about field-based service. Again, not necessarily pertinent today around our sales productivity, but we are going to look to show that through another webinar in a month or so. And Power BI, as Edgar alluded to earlier on in the presentation, is a reporting suite that you can see a couple of examples of in the icons on the right-hand side that enables you to take that cloud-based or actually even some on-premise-based CRM data and report on it in a much broader functional way than you can do just out of the box, with that out of the box dashboard functionality, but also tying in other data sources to bring those all in together. So let's have a look at a bit of social engagement and also Power BI. So back in, logged in as built. Firstly, social engagement. So I've logged in Office 365, there's a product called social engagement. And this originally was called social listening, but it's now called social engagement because there's a back and forth interaction as well. So what this is doing, it's able to listen, to view, to see different social media channels such as Twitter and YouTube videos and blog postings, and look at what people are talking about, the search criteria that you set up. So your products, your competitors, your branding, whatever it might be. In the new feature, in the new version that's coming out soon, you'll also be able to link into other social channels such as Instagram, and others are being announced shortly. So what can I do with this information? Well, it's showing me my sentiment analysis of, what are people talking about, all the searches that I've got set up, where are people tweeting from, for example, where are the tweets coming from, the sources of information, word clouds of what are what are the most commonly used topics that are being picked up by social engagement, what languages are being tweeted in. So through Azure Machine Learning, we are gaining sentiment at the native language. So if someone is tweeting in German, it is working out if it's a positive, neutral, or negative based conversation in German. Most systems that you'll see like this will convert to English first and then try and work out the sentiment. So you can imagine some of that's going to be lost in translation. For me to set up these searches, I'll show you an example of what I've got here for within social engagement is the ability to set up different searches across those different channels and also across the different language barriers that we might have as well. And come on, going to be a bit slow again. Let's try to refresh that. It should be coming up pretty instantly. No. Oh, just as I was about to click off there. So what we've got is a number of different searches and categorizations of those searches that I've already set up. So for example, in my lead section here, I've got a search for people saying that, if I look at this, people who are saying they hate my bike, because I'm now going to use that to find those and push those into CRM as a lead, and then create that as a lead and then try and sell them those bikes. I don't want people who are saying they love my bike. But I can also say, for example, if I change any of the data within here, what it's going to do is going to quickly look at the kind of information that's been coming in, the kind of tweets that have been coming in recently, and do a quota check, because you'll have, give or take at the basic level, about 20,000 messages that it can read a month. It's going to tell you of that how my search is now going to stack up against that. Social engagement is just being a little bit slow today, and I do apologise for that. But like I said, I can take any of these conversations, any of these tweets, posts, whatever it might be, and push these into Dynamics CRM either as a case. So there you go. It's going to be roughly 30,000 posts a month, which is well within my quota. So it's done a check of those, for example. I can go back to my analytics. Just go back to it and take that information and start to segment it. So I just want to look for people that are tweeting. I can actually see all of the posts. Maybe I say that I just want the ones that are from my leads campaign, for example, and I've got posts such as I love biking but I hate my bike, and I can take that and I could push that into Dynamics CRM as a lead, and my sales team could pick that up as a lead and push it through that business process flow. So we've got a few minutes remaining, and I want to leave a bit of time at the end just in case we do have some questions. So we've looked at some social engagement as an integrated product, but finally I want to look at Power BI. So this is a dashboard that I've got set up for my sales team within Power BI. This is all consumed within Office 365, and it's taking the Dynamics CRM sales-based data that I've got and pushing it into this rich-based reporting functionality. So what I can do is I can start to take this information, report on it, I can consume it through a mobile, through a tablet device, and I can start to build on top of it as well. So you can see we've got a number of different visualizations, such as the point plotting map, or the maps-based functionality that we don't have out of the box within Dynamics CRM. Where the positivity, where the key or the core difference between this and Dynamics CRM comes, is that I can say I want to also link in data sets from all of my other different services and products as well. So if I'm using MailChimp for marketing, or if I'm using something like AX for my finance, or QuickBooks, for example, or Project Online, I can take that data and I can push that into Dynamics CRM, or push that into Power BI as well, Click Dimensions for marketing as well, and start to build that and push that on top of my CRM data. Whereas within Dynamics CRM, all I can do is report on data that is sat within the platform. So it really is that BI tool. And I can start to go down and look into my different areas of data that I've got. So I've got a sales pipeline dashboard here. I can click into that. And within Dynamics CRM, you have your dashboards, and the charts in that dashboard are all independent of each other. So they're not related. They don't know what's happening with the other charts. What I can do within Power BI, when I've got charts on the same page, is say, for example, well, let's have a look at all of my opportunities. I've got my sales pipeline here just at the proposed stage. And if I click on that one, it refreshes all of the other charts on that same page for just the proposed stage. I might want to take that off and say, well, what about just my warm leads? Where are they? The stages they're in, the rating trends and all that kind of information. This does interact, and this sits in very nicely with the Azure platform. So Power BI, if I go back to my dashboard, Power BI uses Azure Machine Learning to enable users to search natively for reports and the data they want to see. So I don't have to be a technical reports user. I can just be any kind of sales manager. I don't need to have much training with Power BI to say, well, actually, maybe I want to look for my top 10 potential customers. And as I start to type away, it's working away in the background. So using that artificial intelligence through the Azure Machine Learning to work out what it is that I'm trying to find. It must be the platform here, which again taking a couple of seconds. It should start to build up that information in the background as I'm typing this in. There we go. So it should be straight away. So it's got those potential customers, but I want to say, but actually I want to see the estimated revenue within those. So it knows roughly what it is that I'm trying to show. But I say actually I want to see that as a map, for example, and I'm just typing plain English in here, and it's retrieving and it's assuming and it's logically thinking using that Azure Machine Learning, that artificial intelligence, the type of data that it is that I want to see. So, got a few minutes left. So what have we looked at today? We've talked about sales productivity within Dynamics CRM, this cloud or on-premise based solution, this centralized management of data. I've got my contacts and account management. I've got some products from Consult CRM that's going to help user adoption, help drive decisions. We've got the business process flows. We've got integration to other products such as Office 365 for productivity, Power BI for reporting. And it's all configurable, tailorable to your business needs. And with the few minutes that we've got left, I would invite you to ask any questions that you have into the questions panel. We'll try and answer them now. And I thank you for listening to our webinar today.
Thank you, Dan. If you do have any questions, do post them. Otherwise, you can certainly send them to us by email, and we will respond to you. Okay, we're not seeing any questions come through yet, so
okay, well, thank you all for attending this morning. We hope you enjoyed it, and so please do be in contact. Thank you, and also the handout. So if you want to go through the PowerPoint presentation we used today is in part the handout section that you can see in your pop-out screen on the right-hand side. Oh, we have got a question. So the question is, we like the demonstration. How much of that could you do without Office 365? So the only piece of functionality that I showed today that you couldn't do without Office 365 is the Office 365 groups collaboration. So social engagement also links into Dynamics CRM on-premise. Power BI links into Dynamics CRM on-premise. It doesn't refresh automatically, so you'll have to sort of schedule refresh of data. It does refresh obviously automatically if you're online, but apart from that, all of the core functionality, so using Excel, using Outlook, The piece where I showed the Excel online going through and editing my grid of opportunities, that's only Office 365 as well. But everything else, so the reporting within Excel, mail merge in Word, bringing in emails that I've got within Office, and all the other functionality that's directly in the web browser, and even the mobile piece is all available if you're using an on-premise deployment. So the vast majority of what I've shown today is available in both. Great. Well, thank you very much, Crystal. And